Roger S. Green in the building. Roger, my friend, how are you?
Unbelievable.
When I was thinking of guests for these first few shows, you came at the top of the list, and we can only get 15 minutes to share wisdom. And let's jump in. Tell us and tell our audience there about your great family and friends.
Absolutely. Well, I've been blessed first with a noble wife, Proverbs 31 wife, my wife Laura. She's just amazing. She runs our office. She's our chief operating officer of our company. She runs our family. She runs the neighborhood. She's just amazing, fabulous. I'm so blessed.
Yes.
And from there, we have 6 children. 5 are married. 1 I just introduced to his wife. They got married last year. And 2, my youngest 2 daughters just became new moms last year.
Congrats.
With my 6th and 7th grand princess. So I'm so blessed. They're beautiful, healthy girls, and we're just unbelievable. I plan on working another 40 years, so I plan on teaching them the ropes at work at some point. I'm just so happy with all my grandchildren. And my 6th granddaughter just moved up here, and her mom, Emily, is going to come work with us as well at our business. Both of my sons, Michael and Andrew, are in the business, and I love how well they're doing. They're amazing. And we need to find a noble wife for Mike. But other than that, that's my one prayer this year, is we find somebody as good as all the rest of them have. For my son Mike. He's amazing. He's completely deaf, but he has a heart of gold. He's got a master's degree in finance, 800 credit score plus.
Wow.
Anyway, super guy. He knows everything. Super good. And his brother Andrew works with me as well. He's a Ramsey advisor and helps young families get started. I'm so blessed to be able to mentor and work with them. Like I said, I've been doing this for 35 years, and I plan on doing another 40. So I just love, everybody has skills that differ according to God's grace, and it just allows me to put in service what I have, and I just love doing it. My retirement date is December 4th, 2062.
I like that.
And so I've got the 7 granddaughters, and everybody's close by. Furthest one is in Covington. I'm so blessed. And then my mom and dad down there near the horse park, beautiful mom and dad. They've just taught me about service and taught me about, loving others through service and just doing, my mom goes by go to grandma. Anything you need, I tell you what, she's there.
Go to grandma.
It doesn't matter at 5 o'clock in the morning or, across country. She helped one of my daughters move into Minnesota to Northwestern out there. And they're just so amazing. So I've got a great example with my mom and dad. And my mother-in-law is super too. She lives close by and helps the grandkids too.
Well, I was thinking as you were talking, how big, we talk about this fitness, I know, you go strong and you go hard. You got me a little pumped up before we went on air today, but tell me about your fitness. Not just, we'll start with physical fitness, but I know spiritual and mental, but tell our people about that, how important that is.
Sure, absolutely. I think discipline trumps motivation every day of the week. And I think what's most important about the success that I have is that it's balanced. I don't work, and that's not my God. I don't have fitness as my God. I don't have, my God, my Lord is Jesus Christ. And I believe that he wants me to be balanced. And part of what balance is about is to be physically fit so that I could be there for my great grandchildren.
That's right.
And so that I can be there to be a good example for my sons. So I do get up in the 4 o'clock hour, go to the gym in the 5 o'clock hour, work out I have 2 trainers back to back that I work out with, Evan and Jeremy, and I'm back to back. And then I go walk with my wife. And of course I spend some time reading the Bible before I go into the office. And
so you set your whole day.
Yeah, set my whole day. Whole week up. And before I set the year up, I set aside family vacation time, time with my wife, time in the mission field every year. But last year, of course, with COVID, we had a tough year getting out in the mission field. But every year before that, from 2005 until last year, we were able to get in the mission field once or twice, international and domestic. I love getting in the mission field. I serve on boards of charity, Dr. Maris Touching Lives Board for 15 years, and I've been working with Auditory Verbal Center as the chairman of the board there. I worked with a couple other charities as well, the Gwinnett Children's Shelter, the Friends of Gwinnett Senior Services. I love helping. But none of the things that I have in my life, it needs to be in order, God first, my wife, my family, and the community and others. And so it's so important to just have that balance, whether it's fitness or finances or anything.
But something I see with young, hungry entrepreneurs, Roger, is oftentimes, especially when they're in the early days, it's like, I'm going to work and forget the hustle, I'm going to grind and grind. Yeah. You and I work hard, but with balance.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, I think that's so important for our audience, because I agree with you. That's how I spend it too. You've got your time with the Lord. You've got your spouse. My spouse and I are about to go celebrate our 25th wedding anniversary.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Praise the Lord.
We met in college, and yeah, I know. And you know, it's a blessing, because I was talking to somebody last night. We're in round 2 of a marriage. We're round 3, and I'm like, that's your life partner.
Sure.
And now our kids, we're seeing them get older. And
Awesome.
so I share that to say, you know, having those things and going, life is not some marathon and burnout in one end. It's, you know, Lord willing, you take care of yourself, like you were saying, in all these areas, and then you can hopefully share wisdom with those kids and grandkids and grand princesses.
Well, each day, you know, we're to take one day at a time and just be there. I think one of the biggest things right now, Ryan and I, we don't have our cell phones out. You know, we're being with you. So I think one of the most important things is wherever you are, be there. Be there. All there. You know, whether it's you're at church, you need to listen to the lesson. If you're with your children, listen to them. If you're with a client, listen to them. And I really feel like if you do what you got to do when you got to do it, you can do what you want to do when you want to do it. And it's really about investing in you know, everybody only has 24 hours a day. Everybody only has 3, and nobody's promised tomorrow. So every day you should just like pour yourself into the moment. And I feel like that's really I mean, if there's any secret to life other than Jesus Christ being your Lord and Savior, I think it's being in the moment and redeeming the time. And, you know, this is the day the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Everything you do, everything you get to do, whether it's I get to walk to the parking lot, I get to walk, you know.
I know, right?
And I get to exercise. I don't have to exercise. I get to get up in the morning.
Yeah, it's a privilege.
The mind to go to work, thank God. And as long as I can, I plan, like I said, 2062. You're welcome to come to my retirement date, December 4th, if the Lord gives me that capacity to continue to help. And that's it. Just like I said, I really believe balance. And then being where you're at is really being present. The key.
Yeah. And I do agree with you, Roger. You and I were both doing things before we went on air, but when we've been together at other times, we're completely focused on our interaction, not scrolling through our phones or looking at emails or halfway listening.
Exactly.
And I think the people listening, whatever you do for a living, making the other human feel important. Yep. It's such a biblical principle, but people want to feel important.
Absolutely.
Especially coming after 24 months of a pandemic. And
Absolutely.
So let me jump into your philanthropic. We touched on it, but you do so many things. I say you and your family and your businesses. You want to go into more detail of how important that is to you?
Sure. Well, I think one of the most important things is to prioritize your time. So one of the things I try not to do is to have too many boards or too many things I'm doing at one time. Now, my wife and I kind of have an agreement of how many I can do, because I do love, and I want to be at every board meeting. I want to be at every committee meeting. I want to be, you know, making a difference if I'm going to be there. It's not to put on my resume. I mean, you can look at my resume. I don't need something else on it.
Your resume is good.
I just want to help. I want to make a difference. So, you know, one year I served on the board of the Scouts. One year, you know, I invested time to help, you know, again, you know, right now, you know, every year I like to ring the bell of the Salvation Army. You know, I went with my mother-in-law and took the children from the long-term boys home at the children's shelter, and I took them to help other people build a habitat house. And so it's a little bit, many hands make light work. And I think you can have something that's really important to you, like my son is deaf. And so we came to Atlanta because of the auditory verbal approach that allowed him to be fully verbal, independent communicator. And it's amazing what the auditory verbal center is doing. In fact, because of COVID, they're kind of backed up and they need all kinds of help. So if you want to come to our golf tournament in October or our gala, we'd love to have you support the Auditory Verbal Center, abchears.org. Anyway, but I'm chairman of the board of that, and I love something I'm passionate about because it affected my family. But there's also things like Friends of Gwinnett Seniors that maybe didn't affect my family, but it affects other people, and I'm in that community, and I want to pour myself in. I really love eating. I love enjoying with my friends.
Right.
You ask about friends. I'm always the entertainer. I always like to make sure everybody's got the food, and I take care of the bill, and I love doing that. And so it really kind of inspired me to say, you know, I don't want people in my neighborhood. I don't want people down the road going hungry or not having Christmas presents or something. So, you know,
well,
Gary Galloway and all the people down there, Friends of Gwinnett Seniors, so fabulous. And it's just one of the things you want to do to support what's important to you. So prioritize the things that you really want to make a difference and then really impact just a few at a time so that you can make sure you don't get too scattered. I think that's one of the secrets. And I think we'll run out of energy or passion.
Well, and I love what you're saying, Roger. And as we get older and get more wisdom, I think I look at my younger self sometimes and maybe overcommitted. And then you're not giving your full self. So I agree with you wholeheartedly. As you're listening, is something, you know, look really hard. It's not to fill up your resume. It's to say, you know, where can I make a difference and where can I commit to the time needed? Because there's only one of us. You know, there was only one person that can be in different places, and it's not me and you.
Exactly. And you know, I have a large family, and so one of the things that we do in our family is make sure that there's special time for each one. So maybe I'll pick up Aaliyah and take her to dinner, or Anna.
That's
or
awesome.
or one of the things that we like to do, a River, we love to spend one-on-one, or maybe with the small family unit, just taking care of one or two at a time, or maybe have in the night party, have a couple, three of them over.
Awesome.
But the best times, the special times that we have, is when we dedicate that time. So whether it's my sons, whether it's my daughters, or whether it's their family or their children, I really want my mom and dad. I just love, sometimes I went, Russian mission trip with mom, went down to Cuba with dad, South Africa with dad. I love, spending time one-on-one with the people that you can learn so much from people if you pay attention. And your dad, your mom, they're such a blessing to have in your life. And, they're not perfect, but they can teach you so many things if you pay attention.
It's nuggets of wisdom. Somebody was telling me the other day, and I forgot who it was. It was saying, if you're not learning something from each person you meet each part of the day, you're not really living your life. Because I certainly don't have all the answers, and I know human beings want to evolve, and you listen to people around you, and hopefully you can learn something
Absolutely.
from people around you. So let's talk in just a minute. We got a few minutes left. Tell us about fun. You talk about you talk about food and taking care of people.
Sure.
What anything fun you're looking forward to in 2022?
Absolutely. Well, one of the things I signed up for was a driving experience. I'm going to go down. Last year in Miami, I set the track record for a single lap on a new track. That's easier to set a track record on that.
Well, that sounds pretty cool.
It was nice to go down, and I enjoy horsepower and gasoline. I'm not an electric car guy. Sorry. I just have this fear one of these days I'm going to be walking or exercising, and I'm going to get run over by something I never even heard, and I'm going to be with the Lord like, what happened? Did you just call me up? Anyway, so
that's great.
I have a very loud engine, so it makes certain that the pedestrians
people know you're coming.
I don't need a pedestrian response system.
Right.
So I love having fun with that. We love playing games. The other night we had a game night. We came over, we played spades, and boy, I tell you, mom and dad, it keeps Alzheimer's and dementia at bay if you play those cards. And we play strategy games. I like to have a game night, go over to my son Brent's house and his wife Amanda, and they have this incredible room with all these games, and it's so much fun. A couple other family members go over there. Sometimes they come over. We play, Pandemic is a game actually we played, and we play this series of games, and we're trying to save the world from the pandemic. So it's pretty cool. And speaking of the pandemic, I just want to say the Lord is sovereign, and He is in control, and He either causes something or He has. He allows something to happen for our benefit. And I really do believe this pandemic can teach us that God had grieved for us, and He came and died for us because He wanted fellowship. So for me, He wanted us to grieve for that fellowship that we lost during that pandemic. And I think we all had moments when we were more alone, and we were taken back from our friends. And that's how important it is to be with those friends and family. So when it isn't taken back from you, exercise your freedom and your opportunity to be with those people, because I think that's really important.
And as you said, as we move into the new year, it's kind of like the future. What are you most excited about 2022? As we kind of come to a close here, just new hopes and people and new relationships.
Well, I'm just so excited that God's given me another time to influence my family, to influence my community, to try to be a leader. Anything that's good in me, all you do is you see my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So He saved me, He guides me, He walks with me. I'm never alone because He's there with me. He has a plan for me. It's a plan to prosper me, and I don't mean in a material way, even though God has been amazingly good to me materially. But I think it's because I'm responsive and I open everything that I have with the open hand. I'm really excited about being able to give more, do more, and illustrate that to my family so that I can leave them the legacy of knowing and loving Christ, and also being able to do good in the community as my parents taught me. I won't be able to be the example that they have been to me, but I'm going to try to do the best I can to honor their example and be a leader in my home that serves Christ overtly in my office. Prays on every meal, prays for my people. I don't just tell people I pray for them. I pray for them.
That's
and I think
huge.
about them. And when I ask them, I don't just ask them, how you doing? Oh, you're okay. No, I look, you look a little pensive. Hey, tell me, can we grab some coffee or take a minute? So take a minute with people.
Yeah, and I can't stress enough, everything Roger's saying is real, and I've seen it repeated times, and I just applaud the kind of person you are and following in your faith, live in your faith. And my friend, I really, really appreciate you coming on the show.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you and all you do in the community. This is really important because communication, and that's important.
Absolutely. Well, folks, you've been listening to Our Town, My Town, Your Town. Until next time, we'll see you then. Thanks, folks.